Oh, man. Let me see. Can you see me on the floor? I don't know. Okay, here we go. It's not working. Good morning, Coppermine family. This is your boy Truet today. Today is going to be a short workout because my back is sore. Yard work, workouts, all that combined, it's got my lower back tight. But I'm not going to leave you hanging today. Today we're going to do a core workout. I haven't done anything specific for your core in I don't know how long. So today I'm going to give you a core workout. I broke it down in 3 different types of workout, 3 different phases. Again, I'm going to post this on Facebook for you so you can see it. After the day's workout, I'm also going to go over, I'm going to tell you where you can go online, go on our Coppermine YouTube channel so you can pull up any of my other videos. So if you need to do additional work, you can do that. Okay. But today, we're going to do just a core workout. Let me move this out of the way. You will need stability ball if you have one. If you don't have one, don't worry about it. We can do stuff on the floor. If you have a medicine ball, those that are fortunate enough to have a medicine ball, grab one that's about 4 to 6 pounds. Or if you don't have a medicine ball, grab a dumbbell. A dumbbell between 5 and maybe 8 pounds or 6 pounds. Nothing too heavy. All right, for your first phase of your ab workout, we call that a stabilization phase. Basically, what that means is you're training your midsection to work isometrically, okay, while you do movements. So, first movement we're going to do is a low ab drill. Low ab drill, we're going to lay on the floor. We're going to flex our knees, and we're going to flex at the hips. The key with doing stabilization exercises is you don't want to hold your breath. What you're doing is a bracing movement. So a bracing movement is, an example is somebody was trying to punch you in the stomach, what would you automatically do? Your midsection would draw in to protect you. That's a bracing movement, okay? So I'm gonna lay on the floor. Your lower back is automatically gonna be flat, or you're gonna be in what's called a posterior tilt with your pelvis. Bring the knees up, hips are flexed, knees are flexed, toes are flexed. Hands can be on the floor or across your chest. What you want to do is you bring your abdomen down towards your spine or your navel towards your spine. Move only from the hips. You're trying to bring your heels to the floor, and then you're bringing your knees back towards you just to maintain this abdominal contraction. A normal breathing pattern is what you want to do. You do not want to hold your breath. We're going to get 12 to 15. All right, let me go over something else with you on this one. As you are lowering the legs from the hip joint, if your lower back starts to arch, you don't lower the legs down anymore. You try to flatten that back and brace with your midsection as you are moving your legs. Next movement, sideline plank. Several variations. I'll show you the modified version first, then I'll show you 2 more variations on how to do that. Typically it's done with the on the forearm. So if you're not strong enough to do it on the forearm, I'll show you what you'll do. The modified version, your torso straight, your shoulder should be right above the elbow, your knees are flexed or bent, but your hips are not bent, your hips are straight. So you gotta get that pelvis forward, and to do that, you have to tense your butt. Then what I want you to do is push up. This hand relaxes, and you come down. Push up and hold, and then come down. So this is working on lateral movement, lateral torso flexion, and some lateral hip flexion, as well as shoulder stability, because you are bearing weight on this one side on the shoulder. Once you get up to the top, hold for a second, and come back down. You just come down enough to feel your hip touches the floor. We don't want you to fully relax. Head should face forward, because again, wherever your head goes, that's where your body's going to follow. Switch. Again, midsection is braced. Isometric contraction in the midsection. Hips are forward. This other arm, relaxing. That's your sideline plank. Next, the traditional front plank. This front plank works on what we call anti-extension or hyperextension of the back and anti-flexion. You're also working on core stability from the sides, because I'm gonna add a little variation, hip extension. Now, if you've been doing planks for a while, you need to add other variations to it, because just doing a regular plank from now on is just, if you can hold a regular plank for like 60 seconds, it's time to add a new variation to it. So again, we're going to be in the forearm position. When you're in a forearm position, or when you're on your forearms, you'll see people that'll clamp their hands together. If you've been working with me, you know I don't like that version, unless you're that weak in your shoulder area that you can't maintain good body control in a regular plank position. What I like is to make sure your hands are shoulder width apart. Hand position, I like to make a fist. So we'll turn this way. I hope you can see me. So you're here on your forearms, shoulder width apart. Now I'm gonna turn to the side. Arm position, we don't want the shoulders too far forward. We don't want them too far back. Not yet anyway. That is a variation. Perfect plank position. I don't know if I can be seen, but we don't want the hips up. We don't want to be far back, and we don't want to be too far forward. Draw in with your midsection, brace. So this is hopefully a perfect plank position. Next movement. Use your butt and lift your foot up off the floor. Switch. Lift your foot off the floor just a little bit, not too high. As you lift that foot off the floor, don't lift your butt up at the same time. We're gonna do 6 per leg to give me 12 total. So that's a forearm plank with hip extension. Again, a regular plank, you're challenging yourself to prevent extension and excessive flexion in the hips or in the pelvis. When you lift your leg up, there's also an anti-rotational factor. So when you lift that leg up, you're trying to prevent yourself from rotating as well. So you get additional oblique work as well. Back to the low ab drill. 12 to 15. Hands across chest or hands on the floor, whichever is comfortable for you. Brace. Lower back stays flat. From the hips, you move. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Next variation for your sideline plank. If you want to, now this time, we're gonna do it with the legs straight, but we're gonna do what's called a staggered position. So I'm laying on my left side. I'm gonna take my right leg, my leg straight. We're gonna bring the right leg forward some. The left leg, we're gonna move back a tad bit. So if I look at my legs are completely straight at the knees. Feet are pointing forward or dorsiflex. My left hip needs to point straight. So you don't want to come up and your pelvis is rotated. Again, this arm is going to be relaxed. Come up and come down, just to let the hip touch. Woo. All right, go to the other side. Surprisingly, my back is not fired up right now. It's a little tender, but I think this is helping. All right, I'm on my right side. Left leg goes forward some. Left leg goes back a little. That right hip needs to point forward. You look forward. Come up as high as you can. Next, front plank with hip extension. 6 per leg. Perfect plank position. One more. I forgot to mention your head position when you do your planks. You don't want your head extended. Your head is looking up. That's extra stress being placed on your neck muscles. One of your neck muscles called your levator scapula. You look up, your levator scapula and your neck extensors are working extra hard to keep your head neutral. Then the muscles that control your scapula and the shoulder blades are gonna be like this. So you're creating undue tension right in here. So make sure your head is looking downward, or what we call neutral position. One more, back to that lower ab drill. Head is back. Again, head is neutral. Make sure your head is up. Flatten your lower back, which will automatically happen when you flex the legs at the hips. Okay? Move at the hips. Touch the floor with the heels if you can. Keep your midsection braced. Well, another variation. If the closer you are to being to the floor or being parallel to the floor, the harder the movement. A straight arm plank is it's like your regression. So if you're noticing you're not coming up as high, or if you went to another variation with the forearm and it was too hard, you can go with a straight arm plank position, side plank. So with the straight arm, what I like to do is say screw your arm into the shoulder joint. When you do that, your fingers are going to point this way. Okay. I'm going to do the staggered position. Arm is here. You bring your hip down just enough to feel a stretch. Come back up. Three. Oh. Switch if you need to. Again, I'm going to rotate this shoulder into the socket to where the fingers are pointing outward. Staggered position. Feel a stretch, then come up. You're trying to activate the lateral torsos or your oblique muscles to lift. Yep, back is fried. We got front planks with hip extension. When you lift your leg up, you're using your butt to do it. So you're doing actual hip extension, hamstrings and glutes. Lift up just enough to feel your butt work. Not lift it up so high that you start to rotate the pelvis. That's the first phase. Depending upon your strength level, you may need to stay in this phase for a couple of weeks, like 3 to 4 weeks. If you're doing core work for about anywhere from 3 to 4 days out the week. The next phase we're going to go over is what we call integration. So basically you're doing, keeping that isolate, that stabilizing position or the isometric contraction in your midsection as you move. Some of these things are about the same. So what we're going to do is now, I'm going to grab my stability ball. We're going to do stability ball rollouts. We're going to do a rotational movement, windshield wipers. And then we're going to do ab crunches with a short lever. If you don't have a stability ball, I'm going to show you what you can do without a stability ball, okay? With your stability ball ab rollout, your legs, your knee, you'll be on your knees. Legs are going to be about hip width apart, maybe a little wider if you need some stability. Top of the ball. Interlock your fingers. Place the bottom of your hands and half your forearm on the ball. Now, you start in this position, so you're up, and then you activate your glutes and your hamstrings, so you're doing hip extension, getting the pelvis in a neutral position, tuck your chin. The movement is at the knees. You go forward, and then you move the arms as you move your body back. I have to move my hands back. So, hips here, from the knees. Once you feel like you lost control of your midsection, don't go out any further. All right. Next, windshield wipers. Just a weird way of saying torso rotation. I'm gonna give you 2 variations. The first one, I'm gonna bend at the knees. So we're gonna lay on back on the floor. Your arms are gonna be parallel to you, perpendicular to you. Palms down. What you're doing is as you do this, you wanna ensure you keep the shoulder blades down into the floor. If you elevate the shoulder, you went beyond your active range of motion. You want to keep the head back, shoulder blades back onto the floor. Your lower back, just make sure that you're not hyperextending. So we're going to lay on back, arms up, knees are bent, hips are bent. We'll move over a little so I have good range of motion. Those are windshield wipers. So we're doing actual rotation, still maintaining that core stability or that midsection or that abdominal bracing. Next, we're gonna do a crunch. Simple crunch, but the way you do it is you have to really focus on just using your abdominal area to bring yourself up. We flex the legs and we flex the knees. Now, the closer the feet are to you, or the closer the thighs are close to you, the more you're shortening your hip flexors. There are 2 hip flexors that you have, well, 3 of them. Psoas major, minor, and rectus femoris. If you shorten those muscles, they're less involved and not much involvement in when you do your spinal flexion exercises. If I was to straighten my legs out a little bit more and my abdominal area was weak, my hip flexors will be the main contributor for me getting up off the floor. I don't want to use my hip flexor. I want to use my abdominal area. So what we're going to do is bend the knees. Feet are flat. A short lever, that's basically where my arms are. I'm using my arms as resistance. A short lever is where my hands are going to be here. We do the movement, so my lower back should automatically be flat because my hips are flexed. It means my pelvis is going to rotate posteriorly. Head is neutral. First thing we do is we can tuck the chin a little, roll the shoulders off the floor, and come up as high as you can. Then we come back down. Exhale as you come up. You don't have to do any abdominal bracing. Just make sure when you lay back, your lower back is flat. So lower back stays flat. Well, okay, so that's a crunch with a short lever. Lever meaning I'm using my arms, place them here across my chest. If you do not have a stability ball, we're going to do our rollouts. It's going to actually be a walkout. So you're still going to be in your knees. Your hands, they're going to point forward, fingertips point forward, hands are shoulder width apart. You're going to look like you're in a modified push-up position. Midsection. So if my lower back is arched, what we're going to do is tilt my pelvis, draw my midsection in and brace. And then what we do is we just walk out as far as you can, then you walk back. Pause and come back. You have to keep your midsection braced and your butt tense as you do this. Head looks down at the floor, slightly ahead. Don't look up. Next, windshield wipers. If doing your windshield wipers with your knees bent is easy, well, first off, range of motion. Ideally, if you have good flexibility on one side and strength on the other, you should be able to get the thighs to touch the floor while keeping the shoulder blades down. If you can't do that, you stick with that first version. Oops, I gotta move over. So my thighs were touching the floor, felt like it, so I'll give you the next variation. Floor crunch, give you another variation. So remember I told you your arms are the resistance. So we can bring them up. You want. Now you still, the movement's still the same. You tuck the chin a little, you sit up only as high as we can to where we feel it in our abdomen. 2, 3, 4, 5, 12. 12. Okay. If you notice, I changed my arm position because I went from I actually went from a longer lever. I should have went here. So that's what I did. That's why I changed my arm position. But on the third one, I'll show you the long lever. Going back to the rollout, I'm gonna use the ball. If you don't have a ball, you can do the floor version that I showed you. Okay. Again, check your head position. Your head is either looking downward or your eyes are actually looking forward. You're keeping your head neutral. Now, feet. Your feet can be tucked into the floor. I like to point my toes away or plantar flex. Keep that midsection braced. Woo. Okay. Next, windshield wipers. Now, again, like I said, if your thighs are touching the floor, if you did the first version, you can bring a straight leg version. Now, legs are straight. Come down as far as you can. Keeping that shoulder blade down on the floor. It's too much because my lower back is cooked. I'm gonna go back to the bent knee position. Back to the crunch, either a short lever or you can do a long lever. That just means where your arm position is to provide you with more resistance. All right. Whew. That's phase two. Again, we call that integration because you're combining movement of the torso or of the hips while maintaining that good core stabilization. Okay. Third phase. It's a strength phase. Now you're probably saying, well, didn't that build strength? Yes, different types of strength. The first two, we really emphasize core stability or isometric strength. Isometric meaning there's an internal contraction of the muscle, but there's no movement of that muscle. Here, we're going to actually do some movement of the muscle. So we're going to do either a medicine ball or a dumbbell wood chop, working on the obliques. Stability ball knee tuck. I start doing a reverse crunch. So again, I'm adding a little, again, I'm overlapping a little bit, giving you an integrated movement. And then you're going to do a stability ball crunch, resistive. If you're going to do a wood chop, choose a light weight for right now, because this is like an integrated movement, but I'm also targeting the actual muscle that's involved. So I'm going to grab a 5. Hold your dumbbell in this position. Grab with one hand, put the other hand on top. I'm going to go from right to left, okay? So when you do your wood chop, you're not trying to bend at the waist, you're bending at the hip, then you're going up. So this is an upward, downward motion, but you're controlling it. And there's some rotation in the lower body and the hip. And there's some back movement because you have to decelerate the dumbbell from going way back beyond where it should go. Switch. Next, knee tuck. This is no joke. Again, just like with most of these movements, the further away the movement arm is or the lever arm, the harder it is on that particular muscle in your overall body structure. When you do your knee tucks, it's like doing a reverse crunch, but you're upside down, or not upside down, but prone position. You want to brace with your midsection, draw the knees up towards your chest. Where the ball is placed will determine how much force or how much stress you place on your body structure. So at first, we're going to place the ball just below the knees, right in the upper shin area. Now, we don't want too much extension in your back. Keep your hands in place, pull the knees towards you, then straighten the legs. So that's stability ball knee tuck. Next, resisted ab crunch on the ball. Now, this is a progression from doing crunches on the floor. There's more work being done when you're on the ball, obviously, because it's round. You got to prevent the ball from moving. So that means glutes have to work, quads have to work. To keep the ball from shifting, your obliques have to work. Okay? Grab a light dumbbell for now. Have a seat on the ball, the legs about shoulder width apart. Place the dumbbell at the chest. You walk forward and lay back. The ball is going to be just above the hips or the butt. Lower back, lower portion of the middle back area. Dumbbells at the top of the chest with the elbows tucked towards your rib cage. Tuck your chin. Crunch. When you lay back, just enough to have a stretch for now. Keep the hips tense, again, to negate use of your hip flexors. All right. Again, on the stability ball. Remember I was telling you, I don't know where I was at, when I said we want to flex at the hips. Well, when we're doing that on the floor, we do. On the ball, we want to tense our butt. If you tense your butt, you can't use your hip flexors. It's called reciprocal inhibition. You tense one muscle group on the side of the joint, it negates the use of the other muscle group on that other side of the joint. So if I tense my butt, my hip flexors can't do much work. Back to the wood chop. I'm gonna go to my left again, hold it in my right hand. My feet are a little wider than shoulder width. We rotate, we come up. You can put a little speed on this, but remember you have to use your spinal muscles to decelerate. So just don't whip it. Put a little speed on it though. Let's go to the other side. All right, back on the stability ball with knee tucks. You want to keep your body either in line or keep your arms vertical, or they can go forward slightly. What we don't want you to do is, as you do this, that you sit your butt back. Butt doesn't sit back. It goes up slightly, but you're bringing your knees towards you. Grab your dumbbell again, ab crunch. Again, tense your butt and your legs. Don't push so hard with your legs, because then you're using your quads and then you'll be moving the ball back. You tense your butt and tense your legs at the same time. Chin is tucked a little, arms are tucked to the side, crunch. Only high enough to where you feel in your abdomen. We got one more. Oh, nope, we got one more. Wood chops. Now, right about now, you should feel a little looser, feel a little stronger. If you want to go up in weight, I suggest probably no more than like 2 or 3 pounds. Because again, you have to control this and you have to keep your arms straight as you do it. And you're using a little more force. Switch. Get your legs involved. It's an integrated movement, but we're also working your obliques, okay? And your spinal muscles. Knee tucks. Now, only reason why I didn't show you a variation on this, a harder variation, is because of my back. But if this is too easy, you can put the ball lower on the shins. Remember, if you move the resistance or the lever arm or the movement arm further away from the muscle, make it harder. Woo. Last one, crunch. Keep those hips up. Tense your butt. Oh, woo. All righty. That's your ab workout. Well, that's one way of doing it. The heck? Hate my phone sometimes. Woo. So that's your ab workout. That's one way of doing it. So I combine 3 different phases, trying to work the muscle a little differently each phase, starting with concentrating on core stabilization, and then moving on to core stabilization with movement, and then actually taking the muscle group or muscles and actually moving them, doing their actual, what we call global movement, okay? I'm gonna post this up, Facebook, you know how I do. Also too, like I said, because of my lower back, I just did a core movement and it actually feels a little better. Thank you. But if you feel like you need a little bit more work, go to Coppermine's YouTube channel. Click on that tab that says playlist. Look for daily grind workouts, and then you'll see there should be at least 6 to 10 total body workouts, or I think upper and lower body workouts that you can do, or the workouts that we've been doing, the past workouts that I've been doing at home, they should be on there as well. All right. Again, I'm sorry I couldn't give it to you full throttle because my back is a little tight and a little sore, but I promise next week I'll be back on my usual self. Thank you all, whoever joined, came in. Thank you for showing up. Have a blessed weekend, and I'll see you next week. Love y'all.
Truett.
Yes.
Hey, good morning.
Hi, how's up?
Can you send the link to the YouTube channel? Like, do you have it where you can just send the direct link?
I'll find out how to do that.
Okay, yeah, that, or if they just post it, it's like, so you have to navigate through like 15 different things to get there, so it's hard to find.
I know, I try to do it myself.
I know, I'm like, come on, man. So yeah, this was a good one. I tuned in late, but I definitely need some ab work for sure. I need all kinds of work.
Well, good. I'm glad I was able to work on that. I was like,
always.
I don't know what I'm gonna do, so I was like, let me just do an ab workout, and it actually helped me out. So
yeah,
I feel a little better.
Stretch out your back. You should foam roll your back. You're the master at that. You got to take your own medicine.
I know. I was just a couple of hours of yard work. That'll get you.
Yeah, well. All right.
So
well, thank you. Yeah.
I'll post the link.
Okay. Awesome. You're the best. Thank you. Have a happy Easter and a blessed weekend and all that stuff. Be safe.
You too. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye, sweetie.